We all have that poster. Maybe it was a Lamborghini Countach with those scissor doors. Maybe a Ferrari F40 that looked like it was carved from pure aggression. Or maybe it was something completely bonkers, like a McLaren F1 with 3 seats because 2 wasn't exclusive enough. It doesn't matter which one it was. What matters is the promise it made. The promise that someday, when you made it, when you finally deserved it, this machine would deliver everything you'd been working toward. Speed, status, the pure distilled essence of automotive perfection. But what if that promise is nothing but just a beautiful lie? That the fastest, most capable, most expensive cars in the world are actually the hardest ones to enjoy. That's the supercar paradox. And by the end of this video, you'll never look at a Bugatti the same way again. The fascination towards supercars begins early. You're 8 years old and your dad takes you to a car show. There, gleaming under the fluorescent lights like some alien spacecraft, sits a Dodge Viper. All engine, no apologies. You press your face against the velvet rope. From that moment, you're hooked. Not on cars, on supercars. On the idea that automotive satisfaction lives at the extreme end of the spectrum. That more power, more speed, more exclusivity equals more joy. You spend your teenage years on Forza Gran Turismo, from dreaming about Lamborghinis to calculating how many years of salary it would take to afford one. The mathematics of desire, the spreadsheet of dreams. And here's the thing, the car industry feeds this obsession perfectly. Every commercial, every magazine cover, every automotive YouTube thumbnail screams the same message. Fast isn't fast enough. Exclusive isn't exclusive enough. So you start climbing. Not just career ladders, but horsepower ladders. First, it's a used sports car, maybe a 350Z or a Mustang GT, something with enough power to feel dangerous, but not enough to bankrupt you. You tell yourself, it's a stepping stone, a taste of what's coming. But stepping stones have a funny way of becoming quicksand. Because the moment you experience real performance, the moment you feel that surge of acceleration that pins you to your seat, you realize something terrifying. It's not enough. Your 300 horsepower feels slow next to your friend's 400. His 400 feels pedestrian compared to the 500 horsepower car at the track day. And that 500 horsepower car, the owner's already talking about his next move. Something with 700. The horsepower arms race has begun, and you're a willing participant. Because somewhere in your mind there's a number, a magical figure where satisfaction lives, where the chase finally ends.
But let's talk about what they don't put in the brochures. The hidden cost of supercar ownership isn't the sticker price, it's the psychological tax. Picture this. You finally do it. You buy that McLaren 570S you've been dreaming about. Stunning machine, right? 562 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds, the works. You've saved for 8 years to make this happen. Now here's what you think will happen versus what actually happens. You think you'll be driving it everywhere, feeling like a king of the road, but 3 months in, you've put maybe 400 miles on it, total. And it's not because the car's unreliable or because you don't love it, it's because every single mile feels like you're literally setting money on fire. Think about it. The depreciation alone works out to something like $15 per mile. Every stone chip, that's a $500 paint correction waiting to happen. Every service interval, congratulations, you just paid someone a mortgage payment to change some fluids. But here's what really gets you. It's not even just about the money. It's the constant anxiety that creeps in. Every drive becomes this mental risk assessment game. Should you take it in the rain? What if someone keys it in the parking lot? What if you get a flat tire and damage that $3,000 rim? What if some idiot rear-ends you at a stoplight? You know what happens? That car that was supposed to give you ultimate freedom becomes this beautiful, expensive cage. Gorgeous to look at, absolutely terrifying to actually live with. And this is where the paradox really starts to show itself. Because when you're constantly afraid of your own car, when anxiety is your co-pilot, how are you supposed to enjoy it? But okay, let's say you're wealthy enough that depreciation doesn't matter. Let's say you can afford to not care about stone chips and service costs. Surely then you can enjoy all that performance, right? This is where reality gets really uncomfortable. Modern supercars are phenomenally capable. A base model Huracan makes 631 horsepower. That's enough power to accelerate from 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds. In the real world, that means you use full throttle for approximately never. I timed it once. In a 720S McLaren, I went from legal speeds to license losing, go directly to jail speeds in 2.8 seconds. Not even 3 seconds of fun before you're a criminal. And it's not just straight line speed. These cars have so much grip, so much downforce, so much electronic intervention that they're essentially bored at road legal speeds. You're driving a Formula One car to the grocery store. It's like hiring Mozart to play chopsticks. But there's something even worse than underutilized performance: the complete disconnection from the driving experience.
Modern supercars are so sophisticated, so capable, so perfectly engineered, that they've engineered out the very thing that made us fall in love with cars in the first place. The struggle, the involvement, the feeling that you and the machine are working together to go fast. Instead, you become a passenger in your own car. You point, it goes. You brake, it stops. You turn, it turns. There's no conversation, no negotiation, no dance, just cold, clinical efficiency. And then there's the practical reality that nobody talks about in the reviews. These cars are wide, track day wide, Nürburgring wide. A Lamborghini Aventador is 6.5 feet wide. For context, that's wider than some pickup trucks. On a real road, not the sweeping highways they use in promotional videos, but actual roads with oncoming traffic and stone walls and cyclists, you have zero margin for error. Picture yourself taking that Huracan down a proper British B road for the first time. You think it's going to be this amazing experience, right? But instead, you're white-knuckling the steering wheel the entire time, not from the challenge of controlling the car, but from pure anxiety about what could go wrong. Every oncoming car starts looking like a potential insurance claim. Every narrow section has you thinking about repair costs instead of driving pleasure. You can't relax. You can't flow. You can't find that Zen state where driving becomes meditative. Instead, you're constantly tense, constantly calculating, constantly stressed. The roads that make driving magical, the twisty, narrow, challenging ones, become obstacles to avoid rather than adventures to seek. And that's when you realize the cruel irony. The cars designed for ultimate performance are the least suited for the roads where driving is most rewarding. The awakening doesn't happen all at once. It's gradual, like your eyes adjusting to darkness. Maybe it starts when you borrow a friend's Miata for a weekend and remember what it feels like to actually use all the performance a car offers. Every gear, every rev, every corner explored rather than endured. Or maybe you drive an old Porsche 911, something from the 80s with 200 horsepower and absolutely no electronic safety net, and rediscover what connected actually means. Suddenly, you realize that the most fun you've had in cars recently hasn't been in anything exotic. It was in that rental Fiesta ST on vacation, or your friend's modified E30 BMW that makes half the power of your supercar, but feels twice as alive. The revelation hits like a slap. You've been chasing the wrong thing entirely. You've been pursuing maximum capability when what you actually wanted was maximum engagement. You've been buying trophies when what you needed were toys. You've been seeking validation when what you craved was sensation. The cars you dismissed as slow or basic are the ones delivering the very thing your supercar promised, but never delivered: pure, uncomplicated joy.